And welcome back to round 1 of the YugiTuber Grand Championship. In this match, we have Rarity Ho, who's playing Ritual Beasts, going up against Team Innovation YGO, who's playing Heroes. And with me for today's commentary, I have Pointy Star Vio. Pointy Star Vio, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm Vio with Pointy Star YGO and the other on a channel on my own. It's basically similar to some of these, and we're going to be narrating this video together. Sounds pretty interesting, pretty excited for.
So it looks like Team Innovation YGO is actually going to go first here. Since he's playing Heroes, ideally the best thing he can open with is, okay, well, a Summoner Monk's a really good start as well.
Yeah.
Having that Summoner Monk, hopefully it's going to allow him to go into a Shadow Mist. Let's go ahead and see what he does.
Yeah,
Vio, you're familiar with Heroes.
Yeah, I really like opening a Summoner Monk in that kind of deck because it lets you get, when you're running 3 copies of a Hero Lives, or, yeah, it just, sometimes it gets too many and it's too clunky, and Summoner Monk lets you get rid of the extra ones, which is really, really nice since it kind of comes with an inherent, you know, way to discard things, and getting the free Shadow Mist plus Search, which is really good, and since you can set it and use it in your opponent's turn, it's really, really strong, giving you all the possibilities to go plus off of this 1-card discard, which is really good.
So Team Innovation YGO special summons that Shadow Mist, grabs that Mask Change, and sets 2 back row and passes over. And we have Rarity Ho, who's starting things off with a Rampengu.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Rampengu allows you to banish a Ritual Beast fusion monster from the extra deck, and then send one of the materials from your deck to the graveyard. So it's just a good way to load up the grave rather quickly.
Yeah, when you're playing the Ritual Beast deck, you have to, as soon as you can, get Kanahawk in play, which is something very important, and so a lot of times when they use the effect, they like to get Kanahawk, especially like this, banished, and I would almost bet he's going to banish the Kanahawk here, simply because getting that card in play lets you generate the most plus. It's one of the biggest costs.
Interestingly enough, he drops a Defissure, and it's really funny because neither of these decks are really affected by removal. I mean, it's very significant for Ritual Beast being banished, so it's almost like Dark Law helps them in a way.
There's the Kana, like I said. Because of the Defissure, he gets to banish a free Kana. It's basically, because of the banish pile, how it works with the deck. That is basically like a Rhoda, in a way, having the Defissure out. So, like you're saying, it only helps one of the decks as opposed to hurting either one.
And what's really cool is since he activated the Defissure before activating Rampengu, rather than that Kanahawk going to the graveyard, it actually gets banished now instead. So that's a neat little workaround. Rarity Ho goes ahead and slams over that Shadow Mist.
Does the Mask Change require it to get sent to the graveyard to work? That's one thing I've been wondering.
No, I'm not sure.
It's weird that he wouldn't activate it there. Unless maybe he did have that and he's going to make Acid to pop the whole back row.
That might be it, because there would have been no reason for him not to have Mask Changed into Dark Law and to lose the Shadow Mist, but in this case it's just better for him to use Acid to just completely wipe the back row. But again, off the top of my head, I can't think. Oh, well, there's Mask Change, so that answers our question.
That is it. Because, like we were saying, Dark Law wouldn't do much. They don't add as much as they could, and banishing things instead, the banish wouldn't hurt. So I see that.
Absolutely. So Mask Change allows Team Innovation YGO to send that Bubble Man to the graveyard, or in this case get banished, to special summon Acid, which is the same attribute as that Bubble Man. And Acid's effect is that when it's special summoned, it's going to be a Harpy's Feather Duster and destroy all of Rarity Ho's back row. And on top of that, it's going to lower the attack of all of Rarity Ho's monsters by 300. Rarity Ho chaining MST to the activation of that Acid to destroy that set Call the Haunted.
Let's see what
and that Call the Haunted's pretty irrelevant anyway, since Defissure was in play at that point.
He lost the Monster Reborn trap. Since he didn't have a Tamer anywhere in the field, or like in the banish pile or grave, he was unable to special summon twice.
Oh, for Ambush?
Yep. The one downside of Ambush is you have to have 2. It's not one or the other.
So Team Innovation YGO opting to activate Summoner Monk again. I imagine he's going to go for another Shadow Mist.
Yeah.
Grabbing a second copy of Mask Change. It's so cool with this deck how Summoner Monk turns into a plus.
Mm-hmm.
So Team Innovation Yu-Gi-Oh! Activating the Mask Change again, using it this time on the Shadow Mist to go into Dark Law. And now Dark Law is really, it's like we were saying earlier though, it's not really going to do a whole lot. It's going to banish the Rempengu, but, I mean, ideally these monsters want to be banished, so.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
But he's swinging for a lot of damage, so that's good. It's good to get that in now.
Gotta keep those fingers crossed that Rarity Ho has like a Wen in hand so he can actually make plays again. If he doesn't, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
You know, I wonder why he didn't just attack with Acid first, and then the Shadow Mist, and then Mask Change in the battle phase, just to get in an extra 1,000 damage, if that's all he did.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I mean, granted,
There's the Wen.
Every little bit helps. There's the Wen, and that's exactly what we were talking about. Ritual Beast Tamer Wen's effect is that when it's normal summon... Oh!
No effect.
But it's met with a Vanity's Emptiness.
Oh.
That is huge for Team Innovation Yu-Gi-Oh! So as I was saying, Ritual Beast Tamer Wen's effect is that when it's normal summoned, Rarity Ho is allowed to special summon a Ritual Beast monster from the banished zone. And that would have been huge, because he would have just been right back in this game. But Vanity's Emptiness completely shutting him down.
That's gonna hurt.
That's a really... any field that ever has Dark Law and Vanity's Emptiness, that's tough. And Rarity Ho's just forced to pass it over. I mean, Team Innovation Yu-Gi-Oh! Might have game right here. He's just going to attack.
Yeah.
So what's that going to be? 900, 2,800. Oh my god, if he would have switched the Summoner Monk into attack mode, he could have attacked for a game. But I don't think he did it.
or if he had done that one play with the earlier with the
with the Shadow Mist,
Shadow
yeah.
Mist, yeah,
See,
that would have done it too.
Those points matter. This game could have been over one turn sooner.
Come on, gotta keep those fingers crossed for the Rarity Ho.
Maybe. Oh
Nope,
wow, no,
nope,
Rarity Ho
can't
just
do
concedes. That's game one. So that turned out to be pretty quick. So, but with the magic of editing, we're gonna go straight into game two.
All right, we're gonna have Rarity Ho go first. That's interesting.
So what do you think he needs to do to really change this around this game?
He needs to open with an Elder and a Kanahawk. He didn't do that.
Oh, he got the Kanahawk.
He opened Kanahawk, which is close, but no cigar. It depends on what his
Kanahawk's
deck knows.
effect is like a gold sarcophagus, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the Ritual Beast. So he's allowed to banish a Ritual Beast monster just straight from the deck. And what's cool is it's once per turn, and this deck kind of thrives off that effect, which you might get to see a little bit later on. We've seen emergency teleport come down.
That's what we needed. He gets to go plus this turn. Alright, so every monster in this deck can only be special summoned one time. That's like one of the biggest costs about it. That way you can't infinitely loop through their cards. So that'll change things. There's the Elder.
There's the Elder. And I believe all of the Elders are Psychic type?
Yep, all the time.
Yeah, which means all of the Elders, I think all the Elders are Eve Telly targets?
Yep, all the Elders, the Wens, and the Laras are all Psychic types. Any Tamer can be, like the Ritual Beast Tamers can all be Psychics, and they're all level 3 or under.
So he goes ahead and contact fuses for Ritual Beast Ulti Kanahawk, which is just pretty much Zapdos, because that's exactly what it looks like. Vexicus made that joke earlier. So the interesting thing about Ulti Kanahawk is that it has two separate effects that can actually be chained to one another. So the first effect is that you choose two of your banished cards and return them to the graveyard, and you chain the second effect, which allows you to take two of those banished cards and special summon them. And as long as one of those targets from the first effect hits the graveyard, that you can resolve both of those effects properly. And so he brings back out the Kanahawk and is that the Lara?
Yep, because he special summoned the Elder off of Vitelli.
Right. And so now he is able to use Kanahawk's effect again, like I mentioned earlier, and that's how you can abuse Kanahawk and just keep your banished zone refreshed with monsters. And also with Kanahawk's, Ulti Kanahawk's second effect, he's allowed to add a Ritual Beast card from his deck to his hand, which he opted for Ritual Beast Steeds.
That card's so good. You can use as many as you want in a turn. It's so good. No targeting.
You can chain it to the uncontact fusing of a fusion.
It's so good. Like,
it's such a good card.
Another.
So Rarity Ho is going to contact fuse again.
Interesting. I wonder, is he gonna go for another Kana?
I'm interested to see what he goes into as well. He goes into another Ulti Kanahawk. Okay.
I like the extra Kanahawk. He's gonna have to go for the trap card though, because otherwise he won't be able to defuse it, and then it'll be 1600 on the field, which can be tacked over by a lot of things.
Yeah, he's not allowed to defuse it since those cards have been special summoned once already each. So he sends back the... Was that a misclick? That was a misclick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
so So he returns the Leo and the Lara back to his graveyard, and that's what allows him to search. And imagine he's going for a second copy of Steeds.
That means I bet he has the Call the Haunted version, or that trap. The ambush is probably in his hand.
Yeah, because usually you want to have both.
Oh, yeah.
No back row. That's interesting.
I bet it's one ambush, two of those, and a macro. That's what he wants down there. Whether it is or whether it isn't is different.
So this is going to be interesting for Team Innovation Yu-Gi-Oh! To see how he responds to this.
A book.
So
that
a Book
hurts.
of Moon gets dropped. So Ulti Kanahawk does have the option to Oh no, it can't defuse because there's only one monster in the banish zone.
That's gonna hurt. That's gonna leave a mark.
And that's bad because now Ritual Beast Steeds is no longer in play at this point since there's no face-up Ritual Beast on the field. See, a reinforcement of the army. I imagine he's going to grab Shadow Mist.
Yep, he grabbed the Shadow.
There's a Shadow Mist. I wonder what he's going to do with it.
That
acid would be...
Yeah. That acid is such a strong card in this matchup, because even if they pop it with Steeds, they still lose all the rest of their back row.
So here comes down a Goblinberg.
Ooh, that's good.
Goblinberg granting the ability to special summon another monster, which is perfect for Shadow Mist. And there comes the Shadow Mist. And now Shadow Mist is going to trigger since it was special summoned, allowing him to grab a Mask Change out of his deck. Rarity Ho might have a response. No, he doesn't. Okay. Well, we know two of his back row are dead, at the very least.
Yeah, that's painful.
Assuming he set both Steeds.
Yeah.
So there's the Mask Change. Where does he go from here? He could exit on him.
Oh, don't
maybe
do
that's what he's
that.
going to do.
Please don't do that.
Maybe that's what he's going to do.
Oh
There,
my gosh,
wow.
you called that. This is going to be bad.
This is going to be huge if this goes through. That is just an absurd amount of card advantage.
There's no about this. Tell me you have a response.
Well, we know two of Rarity's back two of Rarity Ho's back row are pretty much irrelevant, so hopefully... There's the ambush.
He should have used that on the summon up. I can't even say that. That hurts. He's gonna lose a lot. Ooh. If he chains Exciton to this, then he'll still get his summons off. Because Exciton will blow everything up before the monsters come back.
Yeah, I think that was a really interesting call. So even though he'll lose his field, he'll still have at least 2 monsters on the field.
Yeah, this could be interesting. I want to see what the Exciton player does. Nobody likes to get Exciton into -5. That's just sad.
So there's the Exciton chain.
And he chained Exciton. That is Exciton's mistake, I think.
I don't think so, because he's still gaining plenty of advantage.
Does.
And he's removing both of the steeds as well, which is really key, because now there's only one steeds left in the deck.
Yeah, I guess he will get to blow things up without... Well, I don't know. Yeah, he won't have... That's the one problem the deck has, is if you can outlive the steeds, you can basically have free reign to do what you want without them interfering anymore. Which is...
So the
Yeah.
So the Exciton's going to resolve, I think. I don't know what he's waiting for. Oh, looks like Rarity Ho is asking if he can chain one last card. I mean, the chain's already going through, but I guess if...
It would make
I guess
sense.
if Team Innovation YGO wants to let him...
Yeah, it's something that's been really, really cool that's been going through this, is everyone's been a little, like, not rule sharking per se.
Yeah, exactly. So the Book of Moon's going to set down the Exciton. Which is fine. I mean, it's not like Team Innovation YGO can't do any further damage this turn anyway, so it's not like it really does a whole lot. I guess it just makes it a little bit easier for Rarity Ho to get over it.
Actually, it might help. If he actually did resolve the effect of the ambush, he'll get his 2 monsters, and the opponent won't be able to kill it with the Exciton. But
is he not going to resolve ambush? Did he forget?
It looks like he's choosing not to resolve it. Yeah.
Wow.
That's painful.
I mean, it was supposed to resolve. I think he just completely forgot to do it. That's unfortunate, because that could have put him in a really good position.
Yeah. Did they mention it? No.
No.
It looks like they're fine with that.
Well, there's an Elder. And luckily for Rarity Ho, Exciton has 0 defense.
Yeah.
So funny enough, that Elder could just run over that Exciton.
I want to see the Elder run it over. That's what I want to see.
He's activating the effect of Elder, which allows him to normal summon a Ritual Beast monster from his hand.
Oh, that's a good card.
And there we have a Rampengu. So he top-decked one of those, so that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. That's his only way to make back after that Exciton. Luckily, the Exciton's face down, too, so he can't just blow up somehow again. That's so painful.
So Rampengu's going to activate, sending a Pelio. It's just going to start fueling up again. And I imagine... Do you think Rarity Ho's going to go back into another Ulti Tomahawk? Or Tomahawk?
Probably. He's going to need to make back some advantage after that, and he still has 1 copy of that card in his deck, these steeds, so...
He does have 1 Steeds, and, you know, that could make all the difference. You never know. Steeds is, like you said, an incredibly powerful card.
Yep, there it is.
So there's the Tomahawk that I just called a Tomahawk like 5 seconds ago.
Tomahawk Toast.
So he's going to use the effect again and chain the second effect, like I explained earlier.
Yep, he's going to get that regular Kana back.
Imagine he's going to get back the regular Tomahawk and the Elder. And put the fusion away. He's going to trigger the Tomahawk.
Ooh, the Kana could send a Tamer and he could probably keep going.
Yeah, Lara or Wen. So he gets the Steeds off the search from Ulti Tomahawk's effect. So he's activating the effect, like we said.
The back row might be scary for this deck.
Yeah, I wonder what he has back there.
He does have obviously mass change.
But mass change isn't going to do anything right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's just bluffing one of them. So Tomahawk sends the Wen. It's going to contact Fuse again for Tomahawk. He's going to do the same play, except this time he's going to special summon the Wen and the Rampengu, since those two have not been special summoned this turn.
What's really cool about that chain thing is the cost for the second effect is return it to the extra deck, so it can evade stuff like skill drain, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. So with the Rempengu, he's going to trigger that again and send Ulti Petalfin to send the regular Petalfin to the graveyard. Petalfin's not usually gone into too often.
Yeah.
But it can be at times. The protection from destruction is sometimes relevant.
Yeah. It's like one of those, like, you can chain a spell.
And plus that 2800 defense is also huge. So he contact fuses once more to go into Ulti Apelio. And Ulti Apelio is cool because basically it's unaffected by card effects during the damage step. It's also a double-edged sword, though, because it's unaffected by cards, but that means it can't gain any benefits from cards. So he runs over the Exciton uncontested. He sets Steeds and passes. Ooh, there's an MST. That's actually really huge.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and the Call of the Haunted. Wow. Getting back to Shadow Mist and letting him add another Mask Change to his hand.
As I was saying earlier, once you burn through all the Steeds, this deck becomes a lot more of a just special summon machine, and the Steeds is what sets it over the edge, so this could be a very, very uphill battle from here.
Excuse me. So Team Innovation Yu-Gi-Oh! Goes ahead and activates the Mask Change to go straight into Dark Law. And the cool thing is that he gets to activate the second effect of Shadow Mist to add another elemental hero to his hand.
Ooh.
Which, you know, that's okay.
Alias.
That's a nice
Alias
plus.
can go into, he has 2 Mask Change in his hand now as well, so he can
He
go into
does.
that Goku or whatever it's called.
He can go into Koga. So he
Koga.
summons the Alias and Mask changed it out, so here comes Koga.
Koga, Goku, same difference.
Now, Koga's effect, he may only have 2,500 attack, but he gains 500 attack for every monster on the opponent's side of the field. So it's currently at 3,000, which is enough to run over the Ulti Apelio. Koga's such a cool card.
Yeah.
In the meta, it's actually an out to towers.
Oh yeah, it is.
Or rather, it can be, I should say.
Because all those towers we see going around in the meta.
Exactly. But Team Innovation Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually, or rather Rarity Ho decides to defuse it back out into 2 of his other monsters. And they're both going to just get run over. And they both get banished, which, in this case, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing.
He needs a top deck, a Tamer, and that needs to not be Vanities. That was not what he needed. Maybe.
Well, if it was anything like Game 1. I mean, that as we saw, Vanities against this deck is almost a blowout.
Yeah. It's the only reason why they probably still play Penguin is it's a name, and it can get rid of Vanities, but the little one at least. Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Team Innovation Yu-Gi-Oh! Top decking the Miracle Fusion. He's going to banish Alias and Shadow Mist, and I think he's going to be going into the Shining right now.
That's going to be so much damage.
Wow. So that Shining gains 300 attack for every banished elemental hero, putting it at 3,200 right now.
Whoa.
And Rarity Ho with the Mirror Force. What an answer, and it resolves.
That was cool. That was
unbelievable.
Awesome. That's a top deck.
That's a top deck. Wow. But thanks to the Shining, Team Innovation Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just going to get that Alias and that Shadow Mist back to his hand. So even though that saved him a turn, Team Innovation Yu-Gi-Oh! Still at advantage. So Rarity Ho just sets another card. Will it be another Mirror Force? Team Innovation Yu-Gi-Oh! Summoning out the Alias, just going for 1,900. So that connects.
It's a long duel for having done very little damage so far.
It is. Been a lot of back and forth this match. Rather, this game.
As every turn passes, the chances of a Vanities going back there goes up, and that will make it very difficult for this game to turn around.
What does Rarity Ho need right now to bring this back? Oh, Rarity Ho banishing an Elder. Is that a Sylphid?
Oh, it's probably Sylphid, not Garuda.
I think that's a Sylphid.
Yeah.
So Sylphid's a really old monster. It's basically you just banish a wind monster and special summon him out. And, we see an MST on that. Oh, that was a bluff. Or not really a bluff, but it was an irrelevant card at the moment.
Yeah.
And Sylphid doesn't really do a whole lot. He's 1700, and if he's destroyed by battle, your opponent has to... the opponent just discards a card. Nothing too big.
Should have left the Shadow Mist. Attack and discard the Shadow Mist. Maybe he's got another one.
Maybe he has two. So attacks over with the Shadow Mist. Oh, forced to discard the Summoner Monk. That's probably why, though. Because Summoner Monk wouldn't be able to attack. And he just swings for 1900. Rarity Ho needs...
a Tempest.
Something... He needs something big right now. Or another Mirror Force.
Top deck. Pot of Greed.
Draws for his turn. Sets another back row. Anything can happen. Team Innovation just going for the damage. It's 2,900.
He's taking it.
It takes both of them. And goes into main phase 2. Does he have anything? No, he doesn't. That's Rarity Ho's last card. What's it gonna be?
A set card.
It's another back row. He might have something here. Could it be another Mirror Force?
At this point in time, I just want it to be anything.
He just swings with the Alias.
E-telly.
It's an emergency telly.
Ooh, and he can pull out... Lara has 2,000 defense, which would buy him a turn.
It'll buy him one turn. You gotta give it to Rarity Ho. He's not giving up.
He's fighting it out.
So there's the Lara.
Fortunately, she gets banished during the end phase.
Yeah. Could you imagine if Dimension Fusion was like a card with
that
this
would
deck?
turn the duel around. Just summon my cards.
Well, he would be able to activate it, but
you know. Well,
and that's the end of the game right there. So the game goes to Team Innovation Yu-Gi-Oh! Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next match.